Greetings, family. Welcome to Spirit Knocks for Brooklyn Mosaic. So, today I wanted to talk about getting to know yourself as spirit. I know you all are probably thinking, what an odd title. However, we spend a lot of time identifying ourselves as homosexual, heterosexual, bisexual, sapiosexuals, etc., etc. But have we ever just said we're spirit? Because if we truly identified ourselves as spirit, our gender preferences, our sexuality, these classifications really wouldn't matter, right? Because the conditioning that we undergo when we exit the womb tells us who we're supposed to be and how we're supposed to do it. But if you recall, when you were little and you were a girl, you probably wanted to play with race cars. You probably wanted to run with the boys. You probably wanted to play sports. And if you had parents like mine, they were quick to hand you a doll and tell you no with the cars, right? Girls don't play with that. Girls wear dresses. Girls have to sit a certain way. Girls have to act a certain way. And if you were a boy, you didn't play with dolls, you played with action figures. Like they made that clear. And it was imposed upon you to know how to behave and what you should do. And so I wondered, when we were kids, I think we knew what we wanted to be, and I believe we were still connected to our past lives. I think we brought the traits of those past lives with us. It's the conditioning that moves us away from that. So if you were in a previous life, if spirit never dies, before you entered the body of that little boy, you may in fact have been a woman. And when you were a woman, you would want to do female things. So now you come into this new body and there are different expectations, but you're still very much connected to the old way of life until it's conditioned out of you. Because a fetus, right, a spirit, doesn't have an identity. It is male and it is female. And it's not until it comes into the world and is quickly cut away from its mother, right? Because I believe that's the upload, download system, that umbilical cord. They're real quick to want to cut that cord when in fact they can just wait until it falls off. Why not wait until all that information has been transmitted before you cut that cord? There's no need for it. It can be done on its own. There's all these little things in place to make sure we're disconnected. We're brought into the world. We're given shots. We're brought into the school systems. We're told by our parents. All the conditioning is just thrown at you as soon as you step out into the world. From the time you get your name, right? From the time you get that birth certificate, that registration with the government, that you belong to them and you are expected to behave a certain way. So I wanted to talk about that today. This was all triggered by me looking at The Kingsman. I was looking at that movie and I had a thought about when the agent couldn't remember who he was. Like he wanted to be, I forget what it's called, a lepidopterist or something. Like he wanted to study butterflies before he went into military training. So he couldn't remember the military training. All he remembered was the thing he really loved and he had a passion for. But of course, he went to the military and that probably was drilled out of him. And all emotion was conditioned out of him because there was an expectation that as an agent, as a surgeon, as a soldier, as a man, that you behave and present yourself a certain way, that you be emotionally detached. So I say all this to say, do we really know who we are when we've been told who we're supposed to be? And just some food for thought, Are we in fact still connected to our previous lives? And is that what is causing people so much confusion, right? Are we all just walking around classifying ourselves because we haven't disconnected from our previous assignments, from our previous lives? I know if anyone's ever had a reading or a divination, they've been told different things. Like you may have, in fact, been a man in your previous life. You may have been someone from another race in your previous life. You may have lived on the other side of the world in your previous life, right? So these are all things that are just food for thought, and really to get us to understand that we are spiritual beings in a physical shell. And what I see with my eyes is that we are operated by an aura, a spirit, right? So there's a spirit, spiritual peace over us that moves us, right? Like I see, when I see a bird fly, I see the spirit of that bird outside of it, operating that physical thing like it's a puppet. That's what I see. So I wonder, do we also have that? Do we have that spirit that's really outside of us that operates us like puppets? Are we mere manifestations of the Creator's mind? And are we here to fulfill a purpose and to understand what our role is here? What have we come to earth? What have we come into being to accomplish? What are our roles? And do our roles include classifying ourselves? Right? Who are you in spirit? Are you a healer? Are you an herbalist? Are you an energy transformer? Can you read auras? Are you an adept? Are you a dream decoder? Are you highly intuitive? Do you have premonitions? Do you do tarot? Do you read wax? Do you read tea leaves? Are you a scriber? Are you a poet? Are you an artist? Who are you in spirit? Thank you for joining me. Always a pleasure. I look forward to talking to you all again. Blessings.